Question number 7, Grant Robertson.
Just for you, Simon. To the Minister of Revenue, why was the review of foreign trusts proposed by IRD in 2014 not undertaken?
Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Mr. Speaker, the view at the time was that this would have required IRD to dedicate significant resources to an area which did not affect New Zealand's revenue base, and other issues on the tax work programme were deemed more important by both IRD officials and the then Minister. At the time, the government made it clear that a future review was possible if it appeared that New Zealand's regulatory settings may facilitate inappropriate behaviour in other jurisdictions, and that is what the Schuin review is.
Supplementary question, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Is it correct that in their 15 August 2013 paper accepted by the Minister of Revenue and the Minister of Finance, IRD identified a review of foreign trusts as one of a series of initiatives that should be, quote, a key focus in the tax policy work programme?
The Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Well, Mr. Speaker, there was a reference in that 2013 document to a review of the tax treatment of foreign trusts at about paragraph 22, after a very, very long list of the other work that was considered high priority by IRD. And it also said that the decision to proceed with any proposals for reform relating to BEPS needs to be evaluated more generally in the context of all of the government's priorities on the tax policy work programme. That's what the government did.
Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Grant
Further
Robertson.
to that answer, is it correct in a report dated 14 November 2014 entitled Timeline for BEPS-related tax work that Inland Revenue list under action plan items review taxation of foreign trusts with a date of December 2014 for that?
The Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Well, yes, Mr. Speaker, it did, and it also included things like strengthening the non-resident withholding tax rules, which would have affected positively the New Zealand tax base, GST on online purchases, which would have positively affected the tax base, and it proceeded with those things because that was good for the New Zealand taxpayer. The other is not and could have been negative.
Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
When the Minister told foreign trust industry representatives in January 15 that the government had no plans for a review of foreign trusts, why did he not tell them that it was actually already on the IRD work programme?
Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Mr. Speaker, the IRD work programme had a massive list of things that it was doing. The question of the review of foreign trusts was a footnote amongst the significant business transformation project, loss grouping, resident withholding tax, non-resident withholding tax, the Bright Line test, PAYE deductions, the business tax green paper, and many, many others. Those are the things that were proceeded with.
Point of order, Grant Robertson.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I seek leave of the House to table Appendix A of the IRD report dated 14 November 2014, timeline for BEPS-related tax policy work. That includes a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things, not a footnote.
Order. The document's been well described. I'll put the leave sought to table that particular IRD timeline dated 14 the 11th of 2014. Any objection? There is none. It can be. Supplementary
Speaker.
Question, Grant Robertson.
Isn't it true that IRD had in fact already started a review of foreign trusts because they considered it a key focus, but only after the Prime Minister directed his close confidant to the Minister who shut down the review? That's actually what happened, isn't it?
The Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
In respect of the second part of that question, absolutely not.
Question number 8, Dennis O'Rourke.